disaster for Cassis, glory for Collins, and discipline for Tremblay. Race 1 at the legendary roller coaster was a wild ride. What does race 2 have in store for us?
Marshall Ferguson alongside Andrew Nelson as we are here at Atlantic Motorsport Park in Nova Scotia, and in the OPP Racing Pro Supersport category, Andrew, it was Torren Collins taking the victory in race number 1, but a shoulder injury sustained in qualification that he battled through in the first race of the weekend, he won't be able to today. Meanwhile, one of his top competitors, Tommy Cassis, who had a sensational round number 1 at Shannonville Motorsport Park, he's trying to pick himself up off the ground from an incident yesterday as well.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Torren, to be missing this race, obviously with his injury that he battled through in race 1. But now it's a great opportunity for Thomas to pick himself back up off of the crash that he had in race 1. He's focused. He'll get his team and everybody working together to get his bike ready, and he'll hit the ground running hard here.
Great to have Tommy Cassis back on the grid as he has been so quick all weekend long. Torren Collins obviously not involved in this race as he is too injured from a Friday get-off, but it does line up as a great battle between the Suzukis of Cassis up against Tremblay, Cole Alexander, Matthew Simpson right there as well on row number 2.
It gives a great opportunity for Thomas to get some redemption back from his mistake in race number 3, and he'll be looking to put that bike up on the top.
Good push by Mac Wheel alongside Vincent Wilson as well in race number 3 of the season as we get a look around Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia in the iconic Atlantic Motorsport Park.
Such a fun track for the racers, but a hard, difficult, physically demanding track. A lot of undulation, a lot of bumps, kind of like riding a motocross bike, but on pavement. And we saw some great passes in the race number 3 between turn 10 and 11, where Tremblay overtook Cole Alexander for second place.
It is unforgiving as we head down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Stacey Nesbitt.
Thanks, Marshall. Cole Alexander got a blinding launch from 4th on the grid, slingshotting the French Glasgow-backed Suzuki around the outside, nabbing the whole shot into turn 1. But there was heartbreak for round 1 hero Thomas Cassis, crashing out of the race at the end of lap 2. Torren Collins, however, recovered from a rocky start, and once he had clear track ahead, he made a clean getaway out front on the Octagon Energy Services Yamaha. There was a brilliant race-long battle for second between Alexander and Sebastian Tremblay, resulting in Tremblay not only nabbing second place on the ST Motorsport Suzuki, but also taking over the OPP Racing Pro Supersport Championship points lead. With the ever-changing weather conditions today, race 2 is anyone's game. Back to you.
Thank you, Stacey, as we get set with the KD Group starting lights on. And now out, we are full throttle here once again at Atlantic Motorsport Park as Tommy Cassis fires away and makes his way down into turn number 1. He leads Cole Alexander, who's trying to look around the outside, now to the inside of turn number 2. And what a move by the French Glass Company Suzuki. Number 64, Cole Alexander, back to the front as he was in race number 3, as well as Sebastian Tremblay under attack already from Matt Simpson, who shows a wheel and gets real close right up onto the curbing.
Awesome start to the race for Cole Alexander, again, just like he had in race number 3, and did a really good outside-inside going into turn 2, and Simpson looking real racy on Tremblay right away as well. His foot comes off the peg, a little bit slippery. You can see some puddles around the racetrack. They had a lot of rain in the morning time, and certain areas of the track dry up, other areas don't, so they're going to be keeping their eye out for what type of traction and grip levels there are at different points of the track, and if there's any standing puddles. If they run offline, they do not want to hit the wet puddles.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Tommy Cassis taking a bit of a peek here, and Alexander almost getting that elbow down as he takes a look here in the lead around corner number 10. He'll climb up the hill in through 11 as we see that breakaway front 4-pack with the pair of Kawasaki's in behind of Mac Wheel alongside Vincent Wilson, and then Dante Busick as well, the 2025 lightweight champion, following in behind as Cassis down the hill into turn number 1. And there is a puddle on the front straight, which just shows how much water did come down this morning, Andrew.
Yeah, and it's a little bit offline, so luckily that part of it's good. But definitely Thomas and Sebastian are looking racy here and want to get by Cole Alexander. They're all over him. I mean, you could take a blanket and put it all over top of these 4 guys. So the pace is a little bit slower for what Alexander's doing here compared to what Thomas and Tremblay have been really setting through the practice and qualifying throughout the weekend.
And Simpson trying to latch on as well is not the pace I'm sure that he wanted to have in the previous races. We see Cassis making the move here and getting past Cole Alexander. So Cassis, the leader in the championship coming into this round in Nova Scotia, has himself back in top spot as it stands right now. Of course, Sebastian Tremblay taking over top spot in the championship after the DNF of race number 3 for Cassis.
You can just see Cole's a little bit offline here. He's a little bit wide, so he wasn't able to pick up the throttle as early as Thomas was as he held a tighter line, and just a little outside to inside action. Thomas feeling really comfortable with flinging the bike from right to left, understanding this can be planted, and just took a bit tighter line, but held his line. Oh, big, huge wobble coming on the front straight from Thomas there. Glad he could hang on, and obviously didn't want to make the same mistake he made in race 3.
Just about to say, that's the exact spot coming over the crest of the hill that he had an issue with. Now we see Dante Busick, who has to drop down the order and is going motocross here in Nova Scotia. The yellow flags are out, and is he going to get stuck at the bottom of turn number 1 while the leaders go past? But what a massive moment that was for Thomas Cassis as he almost DNF'd in back-to-back races out here on the East Coast.
Well, he's just going to be settling in here. When you go a little bit wide coming on the front straightaway and you do a bit of a wheelie, it upsets the front end, moves the bike around. But, Thomas has probably done that 100 times in practice, so he's probably pretty used to it.
There is that spot as well when they come over the crest of the hill, just on the outside, Andrew, that everybody pushes the limit as hard as they can. And sometimes you can actually see it's turned into almost like a dry dirt patch with the number of times that these riders will make their way in that spot. It looks like Busick is actually off of the bike on that Trans Plus Triumph, unfortunately, and looks like his airbag might have gone off as well. So a bit of a tumble at the exit of turn number 1. Did not want to be off the bike, but he is, as Tommy Cassis is planted for now on that Fast Riding School Suzuki as we continue from Atlantic Motorsport Park. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Canadian Kawasaki Motors, Pro Cycle, and OPP Racing. Closed captioning for the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is brought to you in part by Importations Thibault, Revs for Rent, and Scorpion EXO. Welcome back to Atlantic Motorsport Park. It is race number 4 of the OPP Racing Pro Supersport category, and what a breakaway 4-pack we have here up front. Thomas Cassis alongside Cole Alexander, Sebastian Tremblay in 3rd, and Matt Simpson hanging on in 4th, trying to get onto the final step of the podium as it stands right now. But you can see Cassis starting to extend a little bit of a gap out in front on Cole Alexander as we go on board with the ST Motorsport Suzuki of Sebastian Tremblay.
This is the same spot Tremblay found himself in race 3, sitting behind Alexander. So he's tired of looking behind Alexander. This is right where he tried to make a pass, and he's doing the same pass again as he did in race 3. He's doing it here in race 4. So he kind of knew his good spots, and Thomas was kind of walking away. So I'm sure Tremblay wants to go catch back up to him to try to close that gap down and close the points down for the championship.
Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? For Tremblay as he makes that move, and almost a carbon copy of race number 3 as Alexander thought about making the pass back, going down the hill into turn number 2, but perhaps some of the changes that happened overnight for Sebastian Tremblay could be paying off here as he moves up into 2nd position. Thomas Cassis continue to hold out front, but it is the number 1 plate from 2025 standing alongside our Bridgestone pit reporter.
I'm here with Torren Collins, who amazing race yesterday. Congratulations. What have you done to yourself?
Yeah, so earlier in the weekend on Friday, I unfortunately went off, a little mishap. It wasn't a big crash, but I didn't let go of the bike, and I believe I dislocated my shoulder and then went back in, so hurt a little bit, and came back in, and unfortunately, I believe I tore my rotator cuff. So I've been kind of going through it all weekend, and Friday I got through it, and Saturday I got through it, but unfortunately today I just realized I'm in too much pain, and it's too much pain for me to continue going through, and unfortunately it might ruin my season if I do have a moment or something like that. So the safe bet was just to call it quits and obviously heal up and try and come back for Motorsport.
Absolutely. Smart season decision. Good for your race strategy. Heal up.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that sucks for Torren to have that happen, obviously in the injury, but it is the safer bet for him, safer for himself on the track on this extremely physically demanding track, and safer for the other riders to not potentially cause an accident that could clean them up as well. So hopefully he heals up and can go back down to the U.S. and put it to the boys down there.
Yeah, competing in Moto America on the Altus Motorsports Yamaha R9 as well down in the States, and was unable to compete in round number 1 here in Bridgestone CSBK as Moto America was at Barber Motorsports Park as we were at Shannonville Motorsport Park that weekend. So disappointing to only see one race of Torren Collins here in round number 2 as we look forward to hopefully having him back later on in this season. As we go back to the front, it's Thomas Cassis being hounded all of a sudden by Sebastian Tremblay, who's trading race number 4 just like he did race number 3, except this time it's for the top step and not second, where he was all over Cole Alexander.
And pretty rapidly, as soon as Tremblay got past Alexander, he immediately closed back up on Thomas. So he probably put in some pretty quick lap times to get to that point, and he's eager to win the race. Obviously, the changes that he made overnight that he was unable to test in the morning seem to be working really well for him.
And much colder as well today, and you understand, Andrew, as well as anybody, how much this track can change when it comes to temperature.
Well, I think that there's probably 50 plus different types of pavement here that make the bike handle differently too.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassis out in front, Tremblay all over him as Cole Alexander sits in third in Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. Welcome back to Atlantic Motorsport Park. Thomas Cassis on the number 18 Fast Riding School Suzuki out in front of Sebastian Tremblay, Cole Alexander, Matt Simpson, and Mac Wheel on the Snow City Kawasaki is in 5th position, but that front 4, the Suzukis, all continuing to push the pace as it stands right now.
Well, the Suzuki seem to definitely be the bike of choice in this class right now, and obviously the way that the rules have changed and the bikes have developed over the years, this is the Supersport category now. It's an easy bike to just kind of jump on and make a few changes to the suspension and to the engine, and this is what they're on.
Absolutely. Thomas Cassis with a 109.891 as we sat down with Tommy to talk about the Suzuki and exactly where he feels it suits him in this 2026 campaign.
Honestly, I think it's quite good. With the R6, I always had differences compared to the other guys I was riding against. And I think right now the 750 is the bike to be on as far as most cost effective, most competitive. So it's really nice to be able to fight having the same equipment, knowing that what you're putting out on the track comes down to the rider, and there's very little differences from the equipment that you have underneath you. So it comes down to racecraft and making the best out of it on track, and I think that's the way racing should be.
Yeah, Thomas is totally right? Like at the end of the day, these guys are not teammates, but they're all on the same bike. So that way he's able to compare his skills against the other guys on the same bike, and it's showing that his skills right now on the same GSX-R 750 are better than everybody else's on this bike.
Interesting to comment as well, Andrew, about almost being like a spec series when you're on the Suzuki, and the talent really does start to show through. And for the astute observers here of Bridgestone CSBK, you'll remember that Thomas Cassis in race number 3 and in his victories in race 1 and 2 of the year was on a red bodywork Suzuki GSX-R 750. Today, of course, he's on a bit of a different looking one, that Suzuki Blue, as a result of the crash that he had in race number 3 here at Shubenacadie.
Well, it's always good to have spares and backups, in the event of a crash, and he did, right? Fast Riding School puts together a great package at their school, and Thomas had some extra spares kicking around that are the blue Suzuki colors, and he's looking great on the bike, and he's doing exactly what he did in round 1 at Shannonville, just pulling the gap, kind of going away, doing his own thing, and Tremblay's, staying there, but just struggling to keep the same pace.
Tremendous program they have at the Fast Riding School based out of Shannonville Motorsports Park, where Cassis went on to win race number 1 and number 2, and of course the DNF in race 3, but looking to win every race that he has not crashed out of, which would be incredible here through the first 4, considering what he expected would be kind of his ceiling in terms of performance coming into this season. I'm not sure he thought he'd have a chance to win as many races as he already has.
Well, probably to your face he'll tell you he didn't know, but I think internally he knew what he could do. He's really comfortable in this class in the Supersport category, and obviously that's showing. He's making it look pretty easy here. Who knows what race 3 would have been had he not crashed and had maybe a tighter battle with Torren and put a bit more pressure on, but he's looking great here between him and Tremblay as these guys just kind of click off the laps. There's only about 6 laps to go here, so as they just do their thing lap after lap, hit their marks. You got to try to be as consistent as possible around this track, which it's hard to do because there are so many bumps, and changes that it gets thrown off. But again, the more consistent you can be in hitting your marks here, that's what breeds winners.
Yeah, and certainly handling those damp conditions from the morning very well at this point is Thomas Cassis, as he was about half a second faster than Sebastien Tremblay on that last lap, on lap number 11. And so now an understanding of exactly where he can push and how much to push as he works off the pit board as well to try and manage this race. But the front two have certainly extended themselves out in front ahead of Cole Alexander and Matt Simpson in that 4th spot. Cassis in control here in Nova Scotia. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Canadian Kawasaki Motors, Pro Cycle, and OPP Racing. Welcome back to Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia, as the luscious green forest has given way to the multi-sectioned tarmac that these racers continue to carve up in race number 4 of the OPP Racing Pro Supersport category. And Thomas Cassis starting to extend himself out in front just a little bit more on Sebastien Tremblay. And Andrew, do you think that Tremblay has settled into that 2nd spot as of right now? Because he might have taken a peek over the shoulder. Plenty of places to do that here at Atlantic Motorsport Park.
It certainly looks like he's taken a seat back here and just kind of let Cassis walk away with it. I'm sure he sees he's got a pretty big gap on Alexander as well. So I think he just, settle in for the points. And I think he probably also understands, hey, sitting 2nd right now still gives him the championship lead, I think, coming out of this round at this point. So yeah, I don't think he needs any reason to push extra hard and, just bring this one home with 3 laps to go.
Absolutely. It's still a joy to watch Thomas Cassis, even if he's in control of this race and kind of managing his pit board expectations, to see him continue to push around on the Suzuki GSX-R 750 as the Fast Riding School coach turned sponsored racer continues to set the tone here in 2026.
And the bike looks pretty dialed here, even through the bumpy section of the roller coaster. This thing doesn't really look like it's moving around at all. And hitting his spots nice and tight to the apex, a quick flip over, hard on the gas through this fast left-hand sweeper, but the bike's not bucking or weaving or anything, so they got the bike dialed. Thomas put it together well with his team, and always seems to do that at every round this guy goes to.
You know Tommy a little bit, obviously, and your time in and around Bridgestone CSBK. Where do you think his favorite part of this track is based on his riding style and preferences?
I don't know if he has a favorite here, because the kid's just so smooth, right? So this is not an easy place to go smooth.
Yeah, he's finding his way around. Let's head down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Stacey Nesbitt.
I'm here with James Collins, Thomas Cassis' crew chief. So happy to see you got everything back together for today. How did you manage that?
We're very fortunate that Fast School has been supporting so much. Thanks to Martin, I asked him before that we left if I could bring the other 750 out for a spares component rather than a box, that it would take as much room as the box for bodywork. And he said, yeah, absolutely. So here it is. It's stripped halfway apart, got 300K on it, but we made it out there and Tommy's leading. Hoping for the best today.
Excellent. He is leading. How is Thomas feeling after the off yesterday?
He's a bit sore. His neck's been bothering him a bit. We know it was a hard tumble to roll through. The bike seemed to take it worse than he did, but we got very lucky even there with the way it went over the hill. We got very fortunate that we had all the parts with the other bike and everything was still straight. We didn't have to change or swing arms or anything. We're lucky to make it back out and happy as hell to be here.
Absolutely. A talented, great crew to get him back out.
Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Yeah, obviously really, really lucky here to not have had extensive damage in race number 3. Always, you saw the bike tumbling like crazy in race number 3, and you always worried about, bent frames, bent wheels, bent forks, and luckily it just seemed to be cosmetic, and that cosmetic is making his bike look good, and he's making the bike look good himself.
Well, Cassis was commenting on, the affordability of the Suzuki package and also how it's kind of the bike to be on at this point. He feels like in the OPP Racing Pro Supersport category, probably a bit of a compliment to also the flexibility of this bike to go through the grass the way that it did and to come out without being too harmed, because we've seen some other brands, manufacturers, where it goes for a single tumble and all of a sudden there's major issues trying to get it back on track, but certainly not the case right here with this motorcycle.
You never know how they crash. Sometimes the smallest crash gives you the biggest damage, and the one that you think is going to be the worst gives you no damage. That's part of the racing. So him and his team have just put this thing together.
They got it on rails as it stands right now, and that preparation that he has done overnight going into race number 4 has put him in the spot to be able to claim his 3rd victory in 4 races. The white flag is officially out, and Cassis tucks in one more time down the front straight and drops down that 60-foot hill into turn number 2.
He's getting himself set up here. I'm sure it's a big sigh of relief for him after what happened there to him in race number 3 with the crash, to come away with a commanding win and a dominating lead here. Made those passes early on in the race and just kind of walked away with it. It showed exactly what he did in practice and in qualifying. He was one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy all weekend between him and Torren. And with Torren out, he's just basically taken the reins over from Torren for this race.
Yeah, you're right to compare it to Torren Collins in terms of the qualification pace, because I think it just goes to show how great Cassis has been here in 2026. It was presented to us at Shannonville Motorsport Park, and I think aside from the strange incident at the top of the hill onto the front straight in race number 3, it's been confirmed that he is the standard in this class for this season. And the question becomes, does Sebastian Tremblay or Cole Alexander, maybe even Matt Simpson, have enough to try and track him down through the remainder of the rounds at Grand Bend, round number 3, and CTMP, round number 4. But in round number 2, it's all Cassis all day, specifically in race number 4 of the OPP Racing Pro Supersport category. Cassis controls the tempo and takes the checkered flag. As Sebastian Tremblay comes home in a steady second, as Cassis waves to the Atlantic Motorsport crowd, who enjoyed watching him rip around their track out here on the East Coast this afternoon. As after the victory, he finishes in first in this race, but is 1 point back of Sebastian Tremblay in the live championship standings.
Fantastic race for Thomas again, and 3 Suzukis in the top 3 and actually 4 in the top 4, with Cole Alexander getting a consecutive 3rd place. And for another rookie pro podium for him. And Mac Wheel, another top 5.
Great job by Cole Alexander. Back-to-back podiums here in Nova Scotia as we head down and hear from our winner, Thomas Cassis.
Thomas, congratulations. Wreckers to checkers, redemption arc, phenomenal. How are you going right now?
I'm just really happy to bounce back from yesterday. You know, it was unfortunate to have tossed it yesterday, and yeah, I mean, I was hoping Torren would be able to race today. You know, yesterday he had the pace, unbelievable for that win, and I was really hoping to race with him, so just hoping he gets better for his Motor America rounds. And yeah, just very happy to have the crew that I have behind me. They worked really hard to get the bike back and going, and we were able to get out there today. And yeah, it was a fun race. You know, Cole stuffed it up the inside of 2 like an amazing rookie. This guy doesn't even seem like a rookie. His starts are phenomenal, and yeah, just very happy to be able to put it on top of the box today.
Congratulations, well earned.
Thank you, and I do want to give a big shout out to Pro Cycle, who helped me get out here. They've been a big supporter of the East round, and they helped make it happen. So big thank you to everyone that's behind me.
Excellent. Thank you.
A great effort from Thomas Cassis, but as we said, 1 point separating these two as they head to round number 3. We've reached the midway point of this championship, and because of the DNF in race number 3, Cassis, with 3 victories, is sitting in second to Seb Tremblay.
He's had an incredible start to the season, and hopefully he can keep this going. We got midway through the year and only 1 point. It's a setup for an excellent championship.
Plenty of racing ahead of us. That'll do it for today from Nova Scotia. Thanks for watching.